Hi, Tony Bradshaw with AddSomeToYourIncome.com to talk about how you can make a lot of money by doing nothing. And I put nothing in quotes because you will actually be doing something that people can't see what you're doing. It's nothing evidenced on the outside world. You may have noticed I have taken the month of July off, and now it is August. Let's dive in and talk about the nothing that you do that can result in making a lot of money. I always remember learning about Steve Jobs taking the entire month of August off to think. Yep. Steve Jobs, while CEO of Apple, scheduled August to not work. How could he do that? How was it that he could make his life so that he could take an entire month off? Think about that. What can you do to have an entire month off? And then to plan to only think. I realized for me that thinking includes a big stack of books from the library. You might say, well, that is reading. Yes, it's also bringing in the ideas of others, bringing in the thoughts of others. For me, thinking includes some of those great courses from the library. Now, before you start to think that I'm going to say that thinking is it, stick with me a little bit as I move forward with some interesting thoughts about how this results in money increasing in your life. Back to the Steve Jobs example. We know he was successful. We also know he was tough to get along with, from what we understand, and that he worked forward with those ideas that would come, not just in August, but throughout the rest of the year. What did I do in July? Not a single post on this channel. You will notice that I post fairly regularly. I have a post coming out about how to make more money. So what did I accomplish in July? Why does that matter? How will it make money in the future? Let's look at this. I like to say let's dive in at the beginning of my videos. And actually, I became certified to go scuba diving and went scuba diving for the first time in a lesson, in a class. I had gone as a Boy Scout down to the bottom of a swimming pool and had breathed on one of those things for, 30 seconds or something, where they're like, okay, you're done. Next kid, next victim, which was, interesting. However, this was me getting actually certified to scuba dive and went down in a lake and became certified to scuba dive. There were a couple things I learned from this process. Number one, the number one rule of scuba diving is to breathe. And I know that sounds really simple, and I will connect this with how you end up making more money. You're sitting there thinking, okay, breathe. Yeah, being able to breathe. Let me tie it to a class I was just in today. In the class today, the lady was saying how she came across a quote. I wish I remembered who she said, but she came across this quote that said, the plagues of mankind would all be cured, I'm trying to paraphrase here, by man's ability to sit alone in silence, doing nothing in a room by himself, something like that. So the ability to sit and have nothing going on. And the next thing she referenced in this class was, number one, a lot of us these days have screens. And she said she heard a guy talking about how he realized he had a problem. He had his phone, he had an iPad, and his TV was on. So he had a small screen, a medium screen, and a big screen. And he realized he's always on some kind of screen. virtually always like that. And then he realized, I've got a problem. I'm on the screen so much. You see, Steve Jobs would disconnect from those screens that he made when he would think. This is the thing where true wealth can be built. Pardon me. It's not just doing nothing. It's being able to rest. It's being able to take a break, being able to take a breath. One of the reasons I really jumped into scuba diving, obviously as a kid, when I was 9 years old, I remember going down to the swimming pool, and I just found the ability to get my breath out just to the point where I would sink. And I would sink to the bottom of the pool, and I would just sit there. And it was so still. I came up after the first time, and my mom was running towards the deep end. She was... And then she realized, and I kept doing this over and over. Let out my breath until I would sink, and I would sit at the bottom of the pool. And my brother and my sisters are all swimming around. Whatever other people are there are swimming around, and I would just sit. And in that moment of feeling like I was still, I was being. Okay, so back to what she was saying. She did a quick search. She wanted to teach other teachers about this and how important it is to be able to sit still. So she thought, okay, I'm going to find an image of a man sitting alone in silence in a room. So she does a Google search, and what comes up is a man in jail, a man sitting with a device, often connecting, and even some of the comments saying, he's got a pornography problem, things like that. Like, that's what most people think or see, instead of being able to sit by yourself and be still. I do find it interesting that our society's solution to criminal behavior is to have the person sit by themselves, kind of in a room, and have that time to think about who you are, what you're doing with your life, and how to change those actions. What have I done? I've filled a notebook with lots of notes. I've filled my mind with classes that I've taken. I've had time to just think. Things have still happened. My life has still happened. I've taken my kids to lakes. We went to the county fair. We have been living. Like, life didn't just completely stop. However, the ability to blow out the air until you sink to the bottom of the pool and have life happening, but you're just taking a moment away from your usual routine, and you're finding some stillness. July was busy. I will be clear about that. I logged in over 15 classes. I was very busy. I accomplished many things. For example, I was talking with my cousin, and she was born the same year as me, and her birthday is actually in July, so she just turned, I can't tell you because it's not fair, but we'll just say we're still celebrating our 30s for now. We're enjoying the 30s for another year. Anyway, I just gave it away. I will not name who this cousin is, but we're talking, and she was mentioning how she works and enjoys the design that she does. And so I started sharing with her, well, these are some of the things I'm looking for designs for. What would you be able to do? And we spent a lot of time, actually, now that I think on it, working with each other on designs. These designs are for things that will sell later. Because I had the stillness, because I had the ability to be doing nothing, I then connected with someone who says, this is what I'm doing. This is what's happening in my life. We're just having that connection, and before you know it, hours had been spent. We had a couple hours one day. She worked for a few hours. We were on the phone for probably 3 hours straight at one go of this. How can I do that? How does anyone have the ability to do that? It's because of how you structure your life. You structure your life to be away from the screens. You structure your life to be able to think. I recommend a month. Find if you've got a workplace where you get 2 weeks off, find a way to make those a solid 2 weeks connected with some 3-day weekends or something, and take roughly a month off to do nothing. The other things that are already trying to press into your life and happen can happen because you'll be doing nothing. And these things that are going to be happening will be things that will return later to making money for you, usually as passive income, like the designs that I did with my cousin. All these other things happened. All these other books were read. All these other classes were taken. All these other activities happened with my family. The thing that's going to make more money are these designs. And if I had sat down and designed, this is what it's going to be, I wouldn't have written out, well, spend time talking to my cousin, find out she's a designer, and have her design stuff for me. Because I allowed the space of nothing to be happening, something happened. And that is what will make you a lot of money. I look forward to seeing you on the other side of doing nothing.